it was such a move that happened right then. They were saying that young men were faking it. Hundreds of gang leaders were being converted.
People you recognized?
A lot of guys. Oh, I mean, the thing about it was the pastor's son that I went into the church, he had a son that had strayed. I didn't know. And his son came back to church and sat in, but his son used to use drugs. Son got seriously converted, beat the drum, he's strong, charismatic guy. And came back to church. I'm in there for about 9 months in. I'm now hot on fire. The son comes back. He's inviting people to church. That church moved from 30 members to 120 in a year and a half when the son came back.
Okay, we're back with Ricardo Miller, who in the last episode said that he had made a deal with God where he would give him 7 years of his life. And in those 7 years, Ricardo started a children's ministry. He became engaged in politics. He started engaging with the community. He said he was the greatest thing since sliced bread and that he found his place. Ricardo, is that true?
I think so. I think I found my place and I enjoyed every bit of it. I mean, literally, my life came alive. And I think I discovered something. It started when I went to church and the pastor says, hey, on Saturday, you want to come and help me? I'm cutting the grass and I'm going to be cleaning the windows and stuff. I'm saying, okay, I'm not doing anything on Saturday. I'll go ahead and do that. And so I showed up and I'm cutting the grass with him and I'm cleaning the windows. And Sunday I show up at church and some of the elderly ladies just like, that young man is a great young man. Good job. You know, I saw you yesterday helping out. Here's $10. Here's lunch for the week, whatever. And I thought, I had never seen such kindness. And I didn't know that my secret sauce was a compliment. That I lived in a home where I did not get the encouragement that I needed to grow and to learn and to become. And so it was that moment that everything turned because I got the attention. They stood up in the front of the church and said, we need more young men like him. I'm like, me?
Did they know who you were?
Yeah, they didn't know fully. They just knew I was a wayward kid, but I was quiet, shy, and was disengaged with the street in the church building. And so, just some people be like, you know, that guy used to be in the gang, right? Like, yeah, he's in church now.
He's not in a gang now.
Yeah.
He's with us.
Yeah, he's with us. And so, but that compliment. Then one lady asked me to come and speak to a youth group. And I came and shared my story. They gave me a check for $150, an envelope with $150 in it.
Did you know they were going to give you money?
No, I didn't know. A fruit basket and $150. And I remember, I was like, oh my goodness, I was making $175 a week in construction. And these people gave me $150
Just
to talk for 30 minutes.
About what you know.
But what I knew, my story. And I thought, oh my goodness. So then I asked the man, I said, how come they give me money for speaking? He said, speakers make a lot of money. So I went to a prayer breakfast, and Bishop Neil Ellis, he was speaking, and I came up and I asked him afterwards. I said, if I wanted to be a speaker, what should I do? And he suggested, go to Toastmasters. I went to Toastmasters. I said, I want to become a professional speaker. I said, I want to speak around the world. That's what I want to do. I want to speak for a living. And 19 plus countries, 150 times speaking a year now. I remember the first time standing up in the front and just simply, professionally, scared as crap. But I was like, I want to do this. But it started with the encouragement. It started with showing me that I had something that was a natural thing that people wanted, and I kept moving in that.
Do you think, so you said you were a middle child, and you said that you didn't really get a lot of attention.
No.
And so part of the reason you acted out was because you were seeking that attention.
I don't think I was seeking, at the time I didn't think I was seeking the attention, I just didn't get the attention. Like my sister right under me, two of us grew up together, the other two at the time did not. And then the fifth one came. And so initially it was my sister and I that was close, real close. And she was in a pageant. She went to Australia. She was the one giving my sister gave the Queen of England the rose when she came to the Bahamas. That's how engaged my sister was.
Wow.
Inner city girl, went to Australia with the school choir. She's in a girls' pageant. You know what I mean? She's the one giving the rose. She sings. And my mom would be like, you little knucklehead, you little...
Yeah.
You know, you ain't crap, right?
She said that to you.
Yeah, yeah. In a different
Look at your
word.
sister,
Yeah,
look at you.
Yeah, different word though.
Right.
You know? And I was like, okay, whatever. And so you want to go to the? I don't want to go. And I'm sitting out on the street. I never went to none of the pageants. Never heard my sister sing. My sister graduated with honors as a premier nurse right now. Highly professional, and we laugh a lot because in 2018, my school, where she went to and my mother went to, inducted me in the School Hall of Fame.
The school you got kicked out
The
of.
school I got kicked
A
out
week
of.
before graduation.
Yeah.
Wait, did they give you a diploma?
They never give me that. I got an honorary diploma.
Did you tell them that you didn't actually get, you need a real one?
Yeah. I had to get a GED. But but I gave my mom my plaque, the award that they gave me at the Hall of Fame. I said, I never gave you a diploma from this school, but here, my name will be plastered in it forever. You know, what an interesting position. I'm in a very prominent school, 53-year existing school. I'm talking about over 1,500 students every year in that school. So it's not a small school. I'm the youngest inductee in the School Hall of Fame as well.
So you went from getting attention one way. You had a gang.
Yeah.
You were with brothers.
Yeah.
You were with people who cared about you, who
Yeah.
you cared about.
Yeah.
You walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know what that was going to mean. You just knew you didn't want that. You
Yep.
said you wanted a family.
Yep.
You wanted a house.
Yep.
You wanted the grass.
Yep.
You wanted the carpet. You wanted the marble.
Mm-hmm.
And so you walk away. You're given a $175 a week job.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see how you were going to get from $175 a week to mansion with grass?
It wasn't the mansion or the grass yet. It was about just being good at something. Learning how to find the place where you belong. The late Dr. Miles Munroe said this. He says, where purpose is unknown, abuse is inevitable. And I knew that I didn't know what my purpose was.
Right.
And so I wanted to find, and I figured when you find a place where you belong, everything is attracted to you.
Got it.
Proper management of that changes your life. Because when you find your place, there's 7 billion people on the planet. The vast majority of people don't know who they are and where they're going and don't have an idea of what they bring to the market. So when you know that clearly, it sets you aside. It changes everything. I teach to young people, when a kid knows he wants to go to the NBA, and I mean he really has it, and he knows it, the coach has another level of appreciation in his life. You know, the ball, he falls in love with the ball in a different sense. Because 1, I got skill. 2, I got the opportunity to play the game. And 3, I could see where I can go. If those things can align themselves, everything can change for that child.
Vision.
Yeah.
You're in church. You're getting compliments. You're getting accolades. You're getting known. You're being seen as somebody who went from the street to you're doing the work. You're doing the yard work. You're showing up. You're starting to speak. When did you come to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?
I was in the back of that church. I'm glad you asked that question. I was back in that church for maybe 6 months. I'm sitting there, man, I can't do this. This is so not right. These guys are so disconnected. I'm thinking, listen, this church can sit 300 people. They got 30 people in here. On this street outside of this church, which is an inner city area, has more than 100 people just sitting on cars. I'm thinking, y'all are so out of it, right?
Right.
But obviously, that man is doing really well up front. He's the one who gave me the job.
Financially.
No, like literally in every sense. His kids did great. He lived good in the neighborhood. He's living what he says. Like, he's really a good man. I'm like, this man is a great dude up front there.
And there's only 30 people.
Only 30 people in here. Why is it that people don't see that he has that figured out something? I won't figure out what he figured out.
Got it.
You know? But I'm sitting in this church and I'm thinking, I don't want this church thing though. I want what he have, but I don't want what they have in here.
So you want the success and you want you want the lifestyle and you want the character, but you don't want.
And it wasn't so much I considered it success. I just call it the life. I didn't think I called him truly successful. I didn't think it was bigger than life. I just knew that this guy was in a good place. I mean, he had a maid and he had a business. That he was the biggest contributor. 50% of the income that came to that church was coming through him. You know? So I was like, his kids were great. His wife was great. I mean, he has a good business. He's helping the community. I wanted that. But the church element didn't look right to me. And then 6 months in, I'm out on this corner heading home, and somebody said they're having this street park rally for young people. You should come. It's a Christian event. And so I'm like, okay. I walked out there, and there are dudes out there with dreads and camouflage on, and they're doing Christian reggae. Never heard of this stuff before. I'm like, these guys got it. I don't know what they got over there, but that right there is on fire. Now, I can relate to that. And it was relevance. It was really speaking to the times. The other was a 30-year-old church that just was disconnected with the community. And I'm thinking, I like what these people, these young people, they're singing, they're just, the energy is over the top. I went and bought the cassette tape, and I listened to it for days. But I went up to the altar that night. On the park, I walked up to the altar. The guy who actually ministered, he's a senior pastor now. And to this day, I just forwarded his book, actually, because he said I was one of the guys from the street. He wrote a book on the gang culture in the Bahamas. That's his latest book. Just came out last year, and I did the forward on it because I was from the streets. He knew that his story, standing up 25 years ago, got my attention to accepted Christ. And so
It spoke to you.
Yeah.
And you received Christ because of that.
Yeah. Right on that park, everything changed instantly. I mean, I was on fire. I'm in my mom's car, cleaning the car, listening to Christian reggae. I'm happy Christian. I'm like, because before I was just unsure. I'm walking to this church. I'm sitting in the back. I'm like, I don't know what this is about. I don't even know what this man talking about. He's talking about Daniel in the lion's den. Why is Daniel in the lion's den? What's lions? Is them lions real? I don't know. This man, I'm not sure, man. This stuff sounds strange. But he's doing okay, right?
Right.
But then I heard these guys come out there, and they started talking about life. They started talking about you don't have to be in a gang, and you can. There's a place where you belong. That in Christ is liberty, and blah blah blah. And they were from Miles Munroe's church.
Okay.
And Miles Munroe's church at the time was the most relevant church in the country. So they had dance ministry, they had youth ministry, they had concerts and stuff like that. I never went over there to join, but I followed him very closely the entire time in my Christian walk. But I felt a loyalty to the pastor who initially.
So when that happened, when you went to that rally and you saw this is how it could be, because was it packed?
Packed, hundreds of young people.
And did other people come to the altar?
Hundreds of young men. It was such a move that happened right then. They were saying that young men were faking it. Hundreds of gang leaders were being converted.
People you recognized?
A lot of guys. Oh, I mean, the thing about it was the pastor's son that I went into the church, he had a son that had strayed. I didn't know. And his son came back to church and sat in, but his son used to use drugs. Son got seriously converted, beat the drum, he's strong, charismatic guy. And came back to church. I'm in there about 9 months in. I'm now hot on fire. The son comes back. He's inviting people to church. That church moved from 30 members to 120 in a year and a half when the son came back. I mean, the son he walked out on the street. Hey, you should come inside. Come inside.
Did the messages change?
The message didn't change as much, but there was something happening in our culture right then with so many charismatic, strong-willed young people becoming Christ-centered from this movement. But then they were being dispersed through different churches. Well, when the son came back, the father then let the son preach more. And then he brought in a couple other guys. Then a couple of my other friends came in, some other guys from some other neighborhoods. And then we got to a point where we were 60 guys strong who were all former gang members from different areas.
In one church. Your 60 guys tripled the population. Of that church.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you start doing evangelistic stuff?
We started doing street meetings. The church moved to maybe about 250 after that. A couple of years later, the same son then started his own church. 5 years later, I went with the son. He has maybe one of the top 5 most influential church in the country right now.
Wow. So when you went home that night, did you know you were saved?
I knew I was saved. I had a problem though. My problem was my home wasn't saved. And so I remember, man, listen, I was so sold out. I made $175. I was paying $50 to do two classes, reading classes, and I was doing English classes. And so trying to get my classes back to go to school, to Bible college. And so
Bible college.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm going to go to Bible college. Yeah.
Because that was part of your 7-year plan.
No, I didn't even have it as a plan. I just knew that I wanted to know. I needed to be informed.
Before you even gave your heart to Christ, you were going to Bible. You made a plan to go to Bible college.
I made a plan before I gave my life to Christ. I made a plan that if I was going to be in this, I'm going all the way.
All the way.
I didn't know what all the way meant.
You didn't know that it was a heart transplant. Right. You thought it was all action.
Action. Yeah.
Okay.
You see? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do these classes. And then someone told me, hey, they got Bible college. Then I learned about Toastmasters, which was a speaking organization. I'm like, okay. And so I'm in early childhood education classes. I'm teaching children's church. I'm teaching Sunday school. I'm volunteering at an orphanage on Saturday. I'm helping cut the church grass. I'm talking about, I'm 19, 20, just busy. I'm all engaged. There were times I got locked in the church, my friends and I, a few of us, and we slept in the church Friday, Saturday, go home, get dressed for church for Sunday. I'm talking about we were all in. All in. That's what I called all in. And the thing just kept growing. It just kept becoming, and I just kept changing.
You didn't know.
I know.
You didn't know any of this would happen.
And it wasn't a plan.
It wasn't a plan.
No, it wasn't. What the pastor said, though, the initial pastor who gave me that job, when I joined the church, which was like 10 months later, he says, whatever your hands find to do it with all your might. I heard that like God spoke it to me. Never be half-stepping. Never be 50%. Go all in. And that was the difference maker.
Right. Right. And you must have seen people who were half-stepping.
Oh, man, the whole thing was. And so even when I started our organization, at 20. The name was Words at Work.
Words at Work.
Words at Work. Inspired by Kenny Copeland. I was watching Kenny Copeland. He was talking about faith. Faith without works is dead. And I see a man with works and faith. And so he had an article. I subscribed to his magazine and got the magazine in the Bahamas. And one of the articles was Words at Work. I said, that's what I want my ministry to name. Words. And I said, listen, we ain't talking this. We're doing this.
We're doing it.
And we got aggressive. We got aggressive.
So you're doing all this out in the community.
Yeah.
You're at home and you see that your family doesn't walk the way you're walking.
It got so bad that I was spending all of my money on school and tracts. I would buy cases of Christian tracts. I always had tracts. Pull up at the gas station, just giving out tracts on the bus and so forth. And my mom had a rule. Everyone at home who has a job has a bill. Okay? She's a single mom.
That's a good rule.
Yeah, everybody has a bill. I had the light bill. Okay? First month I didn't pay the light bill. I'm in church though. I'm in a choir. Second month I didn't pay the light bill. Third month I didn't pay the light bill. I came home from church and my clothes was on the porch. I got put out, man. I was 19. I kicked the door in, took it off the shelf, off the rack. And I was angry, and I was like, when I was robbing people, paying the light bill, y'all didn't have a problem. I'm in church, And she called the pastor, and I lived with him for 2 years.
So you did get kicked out.
Mm-hmm. I got kicked out from home.
What did they think about your conversion?
Who?
Your family.
My mom, she knew I don't know if she was into church the way that I was at the time, but okay, he's into the church thing. Just need to take care of your business.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. There was a difference there. There was no grace for you to be exempt from your responsibilities, which later I learned that I should have managed my resources better and not be so off balance when it comes to my responsibility.
Right. You saw what you were doing as a good for the community, so maybe you're not obligated to contribute to the home.
Yep.
And did anything happen in your family spiritually while you were there?
No.
So there was no change. Did you feel any kind of need to reach out and say, because you could hand a tract out at a gas station. You can speak about Jesus on a corner, but did you try at home?
I started to believe that the aggressive approach that we were doing wasn't actually working as much. I started to realize the approach we were going with was affecting us at the core, in that of our approach could have been better. We were just zealous zeal without knowledge.
Right.
And so I started to change my angle from pushing to. I went to a meeting, and it was with the late Dr. Miles Munroe, and I heard him, and I had zeal, and I was energetic, and I said, hey, I love the Lord, and I used to be in a gang, and I was this, and I was that, and I remember him saying to me, I'm so glad to hear that. Now, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? This is where the change really came. And I was like, well, you don't understand. I told you I used to be in a gang, man. I used to rob people. I used to take people's stereo out of their cars in the church parking lot and stuff. He said, okay, I got you on that. Well, we're so glad you're saved. A lot of people in here are very appreciative of that. But what are you going to do with the rest of your life now that you're saved? And I said, well, this guy quite don't get it. If I die today, I'm going to heaven. And he said, yes, I get that. But he said, you're a young man, pretty much like 19. He said, well, if God were to give you 40 more years, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Change my life forever. I was like, what is he talking about? And then he had a book called In Pursuit of Purpose. I still give that book out to this day. In Pursuit of Purpose, it was discovering your why. And that's what I became in pursuit of. And I discovered that when people discover their why, it's impossible not to accept their source. Because the Creator gives you your why. And to get the best out of your why is to be connected to the source.
Okay, we are out of time for this week, but we will continue our conversation in our next and final episode with Ricardo, when he will discuss practical ways people can go to the source to discover their purpose, the importance of mentorship, how to recognize when a mentor has entered into your life, and the importance of being still and creating a space where God can speak to you. Also, that reggae group that held that concert where Ricardo gave his life to Jesus, that was the group Massive Christian. Here is a clip from their track, Run, Come See a Man.
Somebody get offended. Some say he's just a preacher. Some say he's just an old prophet. Oh, but if you know this man or have a relationship, sooner or later you'll find out that they are talking foolishness. Oh, you must run, come see a man. No, run, come. He's a serious man. You and you should run, come see a man. There's one thing I know, nothing is impossible. You name it, he can. Oh, one day he went by the.
If you like our show, please subscribe to this channel, leave a review, and share it with your friends and family. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Or if you would like to tell us your story, you can call us and leave a message at 347-974-0543. And maybe we can air your story. Until next time, I'm Paul Molina, and this is The King Fighting.